All well.
Okay, here we are.
Oh, great, man. Everything good with you?
Yeah, all good.
Oh, thanks so much. Yes, yeah. Sorry for the mails, man. Yes, we had some bad weather. Our towers were hit with lightning. All our connectivity is gone. Luckily, they got a backup up and running. I've made some fire underneath them. So we got the stuff sorted out. So thankful for that.
Good.
Lekker, man. Yes. Otherwise, how's things? How was your leave? You well? You rested up?
Yeah. No, all good. All good. My holidays are good. No problem.
Oh, great stuff, man. Thank you. Yes, well, firstly, just want to say thank you again for the opportunity, and just want to do a bit of a follow-up. I'm sure you're going to be very impressed with what has happened since January, since we last spoke. Actually, yes, the hookup rates, the fish, everything has gone incredible. I'm super stoked. Actually, to tell you, we've gone, since I spoke to you last, up until now, I've been out to Sudwana a couple of times already. I'm sitting on 9 and 6. So, yeah, 9 hookups and 6 marlin released since we last spoke. So, no, so that's going very, very well.
What was it before?
No, probably, you don't even want to know. Am I allowed to speak that in front of you? So, it was less than 40%. I would say if out of 10 hookups, I was probably getting about 3.
Yeah, that's about it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and what was pretty good, what happened was, first marlin I got for a guy, we went 1-1. The one hookup we got, we safely released it. It was a blue of about 130 kilos.
Yeah.
And then we did a competition here in Sudwana. It's called the Main Manne. So it's all the mining companies from right across South Africa that get together. It's about 84 boats that compete. And we actually hooked up the first day. We were the only boat that hooked up with a marlin the first day. We got it. The second day we hooked up with a marlin again, got it. And then the third day, we got a hit, but it actually hit the teaser instead of the lure. So we actually lied up until the Wednesday. We lied third place. We were lying third place, and then we overall, out of 84 boats, we actually ended up ending 7th. With the fish in that. So that was another excellent one. And then my last trip, I was there now about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and we had a bomber of a trip. We actually got 5 hookups, and we released 3 marlin in 2 days, which was excellent. We got a blue of about 180 kilos. We got a stripey of say about 90 kilos, and then we got a black of about 100 kilos.
Okay.
Yeah, they fought well. The hookup was awesome. It was, it came. It was, if I can remember right, it was outside in. It went through. It got stuck in the jaw properly. The release, all of them released. They were safely released without any damage. They gave us a bit of the smaller ones gave us a bit of shit at the boat.
Yeah, sure.
But otherwise, it was excellent. So firstly, I just need to say thank you. Your stuff absolutely works. And if the guys don't believe you, or believe me, that's fine. The results will show. So thanks for that, man.
Etienne, there's enough people that do this stuff, so we don't need to sell to everybody and convince everybody. That's up to them.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I actually see you. That's what I enjoy when I'm following you on the Facebook posts, like that Pakula, Marlin Bar and all that. I must say, I appreciate the comments that you put there. You don't have to impress anybody. The stuff works. You just tell them straight. Except that one guy that wanted to have a whole analysis about the hookups and the fish and the this and the that whole scientific story of him with down current. Geez, that
look, Etienne, look, what is good is that they're thinking. All right, they're not thinking right, but they're thinking. And the thing is, until you're nearly 70 years old, you see the difference between people who are thinking and people who are doing. I fished for years, about 30 years, every morning and every afternoon, with pure experimentation, and logged and all that sort of stuff. So, most people go and they fish a tournament, they have to try and win, so they don't experiment, they just do what they did before. And,
absolutely.
And even now, I'm experimenting in fly fishing, on the trip I just did.
Yeah.
I wanted to catch a milkfish on fly, all right, which is technically ridiculous.
Yeah.
On the first day, I felt little nibbles and I didn't react to them. I thought, okay, it's just little fish nailing my fly. It's nothing special. And then I said, I might as well strike one of these. And it was actually a milkfish. So I had 8 bites, hooked one, jumped it off. And then the next bite, I said, okay, I'll hit it faster. I won't wait for it to turn. Nailed it and got the first milkfish on fly, which is, to me, you know, what I wanted to achieve in fly fishing. Now I don't know what to do. Yeah. You know, I've done that. So my next step is, I don't know, maybe, I don't know.
Well, it's well done. It's an awesome achievement. It's something different. Nobody's done it. So, geez, that's incredible, man.
People have done it, but I think not on purpose. They sort of fluked them on non-specific flies and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, it's the first one I didn't fluke, so it's fantastic for me. So
yes.
I'm not here to make everybody else. I'm not here to make everybody else happy. I'm here to make me happy.
So, no, it's 100%. No, and that's totally what it's about. And yes, I must. I actually had a guy. He was 69. It was his first time ever on a boat. He's never been out on the deep sea. Nothing.
Yeah.
I've never seen adrenaline pump on a guy like that. And he actually caught that 180 kilo blue. And I've never seen a guy. Yeah, it was him. I'm going to send you pictures. He was.
Because normally, you know, but maybe he's old enough to control the adrenaline. But normally, when you got somebody who's been on the boat for the first time, they see something that big. They go jelly.
They went
jelly. And they last even on a 10 kilo fish, they just last 5 minutes, you know. So that's fantastic effort. But you South Africans are tough anyway.
Thank you very much. Now I'll send you some pictures. He actually, and here's the best, you won't believe me, because he caught that fish. I'll show you, like I said, I'll send you the pictures. The vibe was incredible. That was in the competition. He was super pumped. I don't know where he got the strength from. He was just grinding and going. And he fought stand-up, eh?
Yeah,
he fought that fish stand-up. And that guy, like I said, I'll send you some pictures. And he was over the moon. I can't, like, obviously when we got to camp, we didn't see him again because then he was in the pub until like almost 12 o'clock that night. Yeah, celebrating, flexing muscles. But so that was incredible. But geez, Peter, like I said, it's always lucky to speak to you. Just got a few questions. Just want to obviously just improve myself again and find one or two things that I might just want to query on that.
Okay, look, you know, this is, you know, the way you should do it. Basically, you know, you have your first meeting, you're improved, and you're starting to notice things that you didn't notice before.
Yeah. That's exactly, and I just thought, like I said, I never wanted it to be where I just waste your time. So you can definitely see that the information I'm getting from you, I'm putting it to good use. I'm applying it thoroughly. And I did, after our first session, all my hook sets have changed. Akula Dojo hooks, 35 and 40s, ball bearing swivel with a, actually got one here, it's just an example.
Yeah.
But set up properly out there, obviously the leader. And I'm telling you, it's made a miraculous change in the hookups. And the guys don't believe me. They don't. Obviously, if you get 10 different guys at a table, they're going to tell you 10 different things. Yeah. All I said was, guys, this is working. This is working. Yeah, but this and that, the hook is loose. I said, well, I'm getting the fish, so you can't moan with me. And they're not just the fish, but my ratio, if it's better than 40 or 50%, that's good. So. Yeah, the older guys are taking a bit of offense for the young guys coming in because it's me and a few other guys that's obviously following other parts. But us younger guys, the guys are obviously getting a bit pissed off, especially the charters with us coming up and obviously recording hookups on the radio. So we're definitely ruffling feathers. So
yeah, I never understand that. You know, it's funny, even in the industries that I've been in, like the clothing trade and even in the fishing trade, which is ultra competitive. You know, when you've got on a good thing, people talk to you about it and they try it, and if it improves, they keep going. They don't just bag it. There's something crazy about the pride of game fishermen and all that sort of stuff. It's never made any sense to me. It's just never made any sense to me.
It doesn't. It just is this false sense of importance. Once you're a marlin fisherman, you've heard a story, you've read one article, now you want to give discussions on this topic. Then around a fire, when a guy's got a couple of beers in, he's going to explain to you the secret lost art of marlin fishing. Oh, I get so excited when that happens. And you
the whole thing, In the world of game fishing, nobody else cares. Nobody else cares. They want to win tournaments and they want to get trophies and they want to get records. And you ask them a simple question. Okay, you want to get famous winning a tournament. Okay.
Yeah.
So you say, okay, name the last 5 tournament winners in the tournament you're fishing.
Yeah.
And they don't know one. So how famous are you to be? Name 5 South Africans with record fish. Name 5 South Africans with record fish.
Yeah. 100%.
Don't know any. Name somebody with an international record. You know, when I get one, it'll be me. And I go, yeah, but nobody knows. Nobody cares.
Yeah. 100%. Oh yeah, I totally agree. So yeah, it always welcomes a discussion, but I mean, I think the best way to apply it is just let your action on the water talk. And the thing is,
catch them.
Yeah, we're not getting, and Peter, the best thing is we're not getting these Marlin. It's not a proper professional crew. It's not top guys or guys with years of experience. I'm catching it with a 69-year-old man. I'm catching it with a 58-year-old a friend of ours who's in the mining industry.
Yeah.
These guys have been on the sea 2 or 3 times, but it's just the proper vibe and keeping the vibe positive, and that makes yards of difference.
Look, so, I'll tell you what you know what I sell? What do you think I sell?
No, well, probably not just lures. There's something else coming to it.
That's confidence. I sell confidence, and you get a free lure and a rig or sometimes.
That's well said. Well, that's well said. Jeez. So talking about the setup and stuff.
Let me pick on one thing first. You said if a marlin went to the teaser and didn't go to a lure. Okay.
He hit the teaser.
All right. What teaser was it?
Squid Nation.
All right. Basically, what you do next is you get a witch doctor. Have you got a witch doctor?
I did order one from Starl now. I was just a little bit out of town, but I did order one, and then that's actually one of the discussions I want to have with you. But please continue. I'm going to talk to you about that now.
I've got Sorel's order now, so I'm not sure what's on it. I don't know if there's any witch doctors on it. There might be, but anyway,
okay.
Check with him tomorrow whether he did order your witch doctor, and if not, tell him to place it. Okay. In future, the witch doctor is the furthest teaser out.
Okay.
Because marlin very rarely attack it and they won't go past it. So basically all your teasers are closer to the boat than the witch doctor.
Yes.
Okay. And all your lures are further back than the witch doctor.
Okay.
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 And that'll solve that problem, because it is a problem. You know, a lot of the teasers on the market, like the Squid Nation, the spreader bars and all that sort of stuff, are good teasers and fish attack them, but they generally don't attack the witch doctor. They see it as another predator, and they won't sort of attack it or go further towards the boat than it. They'll go back and look for something else, which is your
hook. Okay. Would you then say the witch doctor, so I can then swim it off the back of the transom on a steel pole? Obviously it must dive down itself. Yeah. I can actually let it run almost run a little bit past my two short konas in the water, or my 2 short lures. So I can actually take it a little bit past.
You move those 2 lures one way back and you run the witch doctor there.
Okay, 100%.
You might end up with your shortest lures on the 3rd wave, not on the 1st or the 2nd. Okay.
Okay, 100%. Because the teasers I'm swimming now is I'm using obviously just those black birds, those black flapper birds.
Yeah.
Or I'm swimming them out the rigger on the one side and the Squid Nation flippy floppy things on the other side. And I'm pulling them out, and then about that I pull almost just behind the prop wash, in the clear water, and then behind that I put my lures. I put them probably about 5 meters behind that, and then the other one a little bit more staggered. But I do the same thing with the black lure first, the dark lure, my bigger one. On the left, I go for my purple.
Yeah.
So, and then would I then let my witch doctor actually go through the center of those 2 lures, actually to the, like a little bit between the 2 of them? Because it's going to dive down?
Yeah, it'll dive. Okay. And you can run the surface teasers on top because the witch doctor is below, so it's not going to interfere with it. Okay.
And then with that witch doctor, I saw Sarl showed me you've got the single little strips, and then you've got that other one with a cone with I think 3 strips.
No, it's just the single strips.
Okay, do I use the single strips on the Witch Doctor?
Yeah, because if you use the triple strips, it puts too much drag on, it pulls the Witch Doctor to the surface.
Okay, single strips on Witch Doctor.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the thing with that as well was, okay, those triple strips, can I add them onto the surface teasers, like for a bit additional? Can I do that? Those the triple ones. Will that give a little bit more, a bit more play, liven it up a bit?
Yeah, don't get too complicated with it. The teasers you're already running are pretty good. Yeah, look, you can certainly put it behind the flippies and the mud flaps, but you know, the Witch Doctor with the strips is really the best trolling system.
Okay, so and then you would say the Squid Nation with those flapper birds and that's already a solid setup that you would recommend right across the world as a good teaser to bring to race fish.
There's no difference in parts of the world. Everywhere's the same. You know what I'm telling you in Sodwana is exactly the same as I'll tell somebody in Australia or New Zealand or America or Hawaii. It's exactly the same. The fish aren't that. They haven't got passports. They don't know where they are.
I get it. That's cool. And then the other thing, just this is off the topic. I actually watched your whole interview with Dr. Julian Pepperell, which was flippin' interesting.
Yeah.
That guy is, yes, that's also a next level guy. And then just wanted to ask, would you still, because there was one topic that you guys discussed regarding, obviously you've got a bit more inshore type fish and a bit more offshore type fish. Is that why we would rather just stick to a scattered lure spread with different colors? Or would you actually go as far as to, as soon as you work deeper offshore, change the color scheme a bit more towards that type of color fish that the marlin feed on?
Look, all of that's really quite generational. The new guys coming in, I'm telling them to use fish prints. So that's going to be the best lures they've ever had because that's what they're catching fish on. You know, we've still got guys who bought the original lures in 1985, and that was what they were successful fish first up. So they think they're the best, and that I've been wasting my time for the last 35 years trying to develop something better. Okay. So it really depends on what you want to do. Look, both systems work best. The best system that I've currently got is the fish print packs, where you're trolling all the same print and all the lures are the same color, which is basically, you know, these types of lures. Okay, so they're all the same. To me, it's the ultimate because the 3D heads have got a lot more in them. And because it's the latest thing, they've got the latest development in the additives as well. So, you know, they've been incredibly successful. But if you're started fishing 5 or 6 years ago, then you, these are too revolutionary for you, so you're going to use different colors. So the colors also stay the same whether you're inshore or offshore. It's still black, then blue, then violet, then green, then Brad J. And that's everywhere, worldwide, inshore, offshore. Okay. Okay.
All right. So that's perfect then. Okay. So then teaser setup, I'm then sorted. I just need to get that. Sorrel actually has a Witch Doctor for me. So there is one in stock by him that I asked him to keep for me. I just need to sort out the payment, and then I wanted to make sure about you just regarding the strips.
Okay.
So my teaser setup would then be perfect like that. Then the only other question is, Kona, with the lure, obviously we spoke about where you said the best recommended one is obviously just the eye of the hook coming out of the skirt.
Yes.
But I've seen with some skirts and stuff, the skirts are obviously a little bit shorter, a little bit longer. Some guys trim the skirts, all that. Would that be actually such a major difference? Or
no, as long as the point is outside the skirt, that's fine.
Is that fine? And then with your hook sets, let's say you've got your standard, all your large lures for fishing. Yeah. Is it all one size, or do you actually make it according to the skirt, or do you have a predetermined hook set size and then that fits, even if it's a little bit longer out of the skirt, a little bit shorter, you just leave it like that?
Yeah, if it's according to the rules, as long as the eye is inside the hook gape, it certainly changes according to the diameter of the head. The minimum size of the hook should be so it fits over the lure head, and you can go up a size, but don't go down a size from that.
Okay, 100%. And then the thing regarding that as well is I've gone one size bigger with my hook sets.
Yep.
With all my lures, and sometimes it does look a little bit like the hook is a bit bigger, but I'm having success with it. It's working right. The hook is setting properly. It's actually feeling good. That's 100%. Okay,
you know, it's the traditional thing is a hook the same with a gape the same diameter as the lure head. A lot of guys are actually running the hooks 2 sizes bigger not just one size bigger, and it looks ridiculous.
Okay.
Okay, but it's working really well.
Okay, so that's not a problem there.
Ah.
Okay.
And also because of the swivel rig, the rig doesn't affect the lure at all. So you can use much bigger hooks. It doesn't stop the lure working. It still works the same.
Okay, then that's 100%. Just here. Okay, thank you for that. And then the other thing on your video on your website, then you discussed about. You said if it was up to you, if you weren't fishing IGFA rules, you would actually swim the hook out a little bit further back.
Yeah.
If I may actually ask, in terms of the hookup or the bite, why would that be more? Okay, accept the rules now, but why would that be actually better or more beneficial for you as the angler to get a better hookup rate?
I can give you an easy answer for that. If it wasn't better, it wouldn't be illegal in the rules. Okay. Basically, the rule of thumb is no matter where the fish bites it, the hook's coming at it.
Yeah.
Okay. And as soon as the fish opens its mouth, the hook's coming straight at it. Okay.
Okay.
So it is better, but not many people use it, or not many people think about that. But if it's illegal to have it any further back, you can guarantee it's better.
Yeah, no, I'm also that you actually said it well on that seminar as well. That I heard if it's all the way back and it's out of the skirt, it's probably better. so I'm borderline legal with my lures, because I was just wondering. I was trying to think of the science of the hook coming past a little bit later, especially with your smaller fish. If it comes and bites, if it doesn't miss, but I mean you're trawling at a speed, and that fish is obviously turning its head to get the hook up, so that hook is going to get stuck in the jaw somewhere.
Yeah. And, there's a lot of forms of fishing. For example, salmon fishing with little egg beads. Okay. Yeah. They've actually got the hook about 4 inches away from the bead. The bead's actually about 4 inches up. So it's that sort of system as well. Okay.
It makes sense.
There's a few other sorts of systems where that's used as well. It's not just in the bead system, but there's quite a few various types of fishing methods where the hook is outside the bait, so that when the fish eats the bait, the hook's coming at it.
Okay, that makes sense. Yes, well, I must say, I actually, while we were on sea, I was actually testing your theory with the hook coming up, and I was actually throwing the Kona the lure next to the boat, and it was actually incredible to see that your mind, it's obviously science or physics or whatever you want to call it, but putting that lure in the water with a swivel, everybody didn't believe me that hook is going to swim up straight, and we actually threw a lure in the water next to the boat, and we were just like going at trawling speed. And the guys could not believe that hook set was staying up. They couldn't believe it. It's actually mine.
Look, the thing is, I started using underwater cameras a long time ago, like probably early 80s. So, I used to troll lures with hooks, rigs without lures without rigs, and notice the difference and all that sort of stuff. So, it's just observation. It was the benefit of being able to fish lots and lots without it counting as points for anything. So, I could muck around with it as forever. And, also catching fish got pretty boring, strange enough, because we got pretty good at it. So trying to really sort of have a look at why things were happening was really interesting to sort of see, everybody tells you to do this, but you look at it in the water and it doesn't do anything that they tell you it's actually doing.
Yeah.
It's a good view for the seagulls, and even lures action and all that sort of stuff. It might look good to a seagull, but when you look under the water, it's not doing anything.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And a lot of the lures that people thought were swimming really well were actually corkscrewing through the water. So the rig was corkscrewing, going up and down and all that sort of stuff. And the people thought because it popped up and made a big splash, it was really good, but it was making a big splash because it was just part of the corkscrewing action. It wasn't swimming straight at all. And, that's all part of the observation of having underwater cameras that are close to the lures. You see a lot of people trolling underwater cameras, the lures, this big in the background, because they're scared the camera's going to, scare the fish off. Right? The cameras don't scare the fish. They might get eaten, but they don't scare the fish off, because it's no different to a jet lure. It's just sitting under the water and moving at 7 knots.
Yeah.
So they don't scare the fish. So I used to have the cameras that far from the lures, so I could see exactly what was going on with the lures.
It makes sense. Yeah, and everything, and like you mentioned, in some of your writings on your page as well, the whole system behind the boat is artificial.
Yes.
I mean, everything, the hooks, the lines, everything. So the camera, I mean, there's footage I've seen footage where the fish actually go and chow the camera. They actually eat the camera.
Sure.
So that was pretty incredible to see. Yes, then the other thing I want to ask you, just with regards to how you did it when you were still like actively fishing and stuff, leading the fish to the boat, bringing it in, obviously just normal pinching or hand wrapping. Is there a specific way that you do it that you found was easy for you, that was a bit more comfortable?
We used to basically get, most of my fishing's release. Okay, so it's tag and release. So the points are scored or the fish counts once you get the tag in it.
Okay, I understand what you mean.
For example, we'd do that with a blue marlin, 130 kilos on 80 stand up. We'd get the tag in it in 15 odd minutes.
Yes, that's awesome.
Okay. But I wouldn't deal with that fish in 15 minutes. So we fought it for another 30 minutes till it got tired. And me, the time when we'd lead the fish and get close to it is when the fish was on its side.
Okay. So then you know it's tired.
No, then you think it's tired. Right? There's actually some footage, I think it's called Adam's Blue Marlin on my website, where the fish comes in upside down. And you think, okay, it's upside down, it's stuffed, we can deal with it. And then Adam actually grabs the leader and the fish jumps away from the boat upside down. So that fish was not stuffed. All right. But it's certainly a better option than the fish being upright, and you just got to gauge it. It's a dangerous thing to do. Certainly you never have the fish pointed at the boat.
Yeah.
It depends on what you want to do with the fish. If you want to get it quick, then okay, you muscle the leader. But the other system that we did when we're releasing is I developed the light gauge system where the hook was stronger than the line we were using, but weaker than the leader. Right? This is about the light gauge system. And when we got a fish to the boat, we knew that the hook was a lot weaker than the leader, so we'd actually punch the hook out of the fish and straighten it. That's why we developed the light gauge hooks, so we didn't have to lead a fish and deal with fish that we tagged in 30 seconds or 60 seconds because they're green. But we got the points, we got the tag in, and by straightening the hook out, there's no danger of it hurting the fish. They're light gauge.
That's awesome. Yes, now that you mentioned that about the light gauge, there's actually a friend of ours that fished in Sudwana as well. His boat's name is Bakgat.
Yeah.
It's like Afrikaans word for like everything's hunky dory or something like that.
Yeah.
And all his lures, he swears by your light gauge hooks. He says the penetration is better. Obviously, they just got to fight the fish a little bit lighter, but they still bring them in. And they say that hook sits like, yes, it sits like shit on a blanket. He says
that's not actually true. That's not actually true. Your hookup rate and stuff, if you're following the drag settings for the hooks you're using, hookup rate's identical. It's not better on light gauge. That's an absolute fallacy.
Okay, so it's not. So that's because I thought he's getting better penetration and all that, but okay, so it's the same thing.
Yeah.
I must say that the one thing that still boggles me that I don't understand is everybody's like, come off on the drag, what. I know when it's half a spool, you come off a little bit and all that, but on
you don't. No.
Even when the spool is half, even when you're running out of line.
The spool's not a half. The lines are half. The spool's not a half. The center of the reel, okay?
Yeah.
Without any line, it is a third of the spool. So
okay, sorry. Yeah, the line. Sorry, when your line's running out and you only got you're on the spool, it's already like half a line or like quarter. Don't you come down on the drag?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so you keep the drag solid straight through.
We'll actually go up to get the belly.
Okay.
Okay, so you don't have to do that, but you certainly don't go under 33%. There's no need to, even when you're at the knot, you don't need to go below 33%.
Okay. Because then I'm going to sort that out.
When the fish gets close to the boat, once somebody grabs a leader, certainly you back off the drag a bit. So if the guy lets it go, it's not going to bust you off on the inertia.
Yeah. Okay. That we do. And then what I wanted to say was that's why like my drag is on full strike, third of the breaking strain. I actually put it a little bit higher, like a tad, it's like maybe a kilo higher.
Yeah.
And the hooks were sitting solid. I don't understand how the guys want to come when they fish drags that are like quarter, like even lower than that, and they want to pull it up. Yes, those hooks we set in on full drag, that fish didn't bother us. It jumped and it displayed, but it didn't give us any fear. We rode away from it. Everything was controlled. So what I did want to say was the way you explaining about the drag, like being on full strike, Peter, it works excellent. It works super, super, super.
Well, they've got a skull. They've got a skull that's bone. You can't get hooks in it easily. You know, it's just you need to be aggressive, and you know, it's look what the other guys do really makes no sense. It just makes no sense to me. Somebody one day was taking the piss out of somebody else, and he told somebody else, and it spread. I just reckon somebody was taking the piss and it spread. That's all, because it makes no sense. It's not physics. It's not experience. It's nothing.
No, I see the one issue that the guys also go through is they read something on one or other Marlin magazine, and then from there, everybody, that's the new Bible. That's the new religion, and then it spreads like a wildfire, and then you get guys on 30-pound tackles, pulling big lures and light drags and all sorts of stuff, but
catching up.
Yeah. So, and because I definitely saw, and you mentioned it as well on the last chat, it needs to be ferocious to get that hook in. And you can actually,
it's not only that, it's basically, if you're using a less than a third drag, then the leader is lying alongside the fish completely, almost to its tail. Okay? Yeah. So you've got no control of the fish at all. It's not until you get to a third drag, actually pulling the fish from the side, and you're telling the fish what to do. At less than a third drag, all you're doing is following the fish around, hoping it makes a mistake, comes to the surface, and you can get after it. Okay, it's all stupid. Or it drops dead. Okay.
Yeah. I must say the one thing I noticed as well with the guys fishing on the lighter drag, there's a bigger tendency for them to have the fish tail wrapped because, like you said, the leader is going along the side.
Yeah.
So definitely saw that as well more. So it's actually worse on the release because they're coming up dead the whole time, especially the more juvenile blues and blacks of about 80-90 kilos. We saw that now when I was there. A lot of guys actually had a few fish die on them. But then when we spoke about drag settings, they were fishing a light drag. And like you said as well, and they were chasing it like that. And they ended up getting tail wrapped. And the guys don't come up on the drag again. So they end up fighting a tail wrapped fish that's dying on them on a quarter drag, and they fight for 3 hours, you know. So that's 100% that point. And then, yes, the other thing I wanted to ask was just on the outriggers. That's the one thing I still wanted to ask you about. With the outriggers, obviously, we don't have those big, solid sports fisher outriggers that can handle massive drags and stuff. What we do here in South Africa, we actually take the rigger clip, and then what we do is we use those those black elastics. So we take one elastic, and then it's just to get it a little bit away from the clip, just to give it a little bit more elasticity so the lures don't just bounce out on the drag.
Yeah.
With the thing I want to know is firstly with the tag lines that are out and you've got your lines not running there, is it good to have a slight little bit of belly in that line where the between,
a little bit. Yeah.
Is it okay? So between the rod and the tag line, there should be a slight belly. And then obviously
it's actually only a couple of inches. It's amazing. You know, you get tied to it and then you let out 2 inches, you got a belly.
Okay, so all right. So just a light belly. So it mustn't be solid tight. So that's like it's all pulling tight.
No, it shouldn't.
So just going to leave a slight. Okay. And then the other thing with that is the elastics are 5 pounds or 6 pounds each. So when the marlin hits the lure, it breaks out of the elastic, and then you, like you said, that belly now obviously gets it the chance to maybe turn or something.
No,
then it gets.
No, it's basically a direct pull. If you do it in your driveway, you'll see it immediate. It's only a couple of inches.
Okay. And then, okay, if it's so with our riggers that don't have that power for those clips, is that then enough just for the fish to pull it out, or is there something else I need to do there, or is that actually fine?
No, the clips you'll never get the best hookup rate because there is a drop back. So the hook point wasn't set at that stage, and as the fish turns, the point changes its penetration, and the hookup rate drops. So you're far better off using tag lines.
Okay, so taglines with those elastics, taglines with the elastics, and then if the fish hits it, strikes out, I leave a slight bit of belly between the rod and the tagline, and then from there it hits it. But you say the elastic system is fine, since I don't have the drag to set it on the rigger itself.
Depends on what outriggers you got. It'd be nice to get the release off the taglines as close to your drag setting as possible. But if your outriggers won't take it, you certainly don't want to break your outriggers. So you see what your outriggers can actually take and use that pressure.
Okay, all right. So then I'm on the right track with that.
Yeah.
Okay, then the other, you see, then I'm going to actually pick your mind a little bit, yeah. When the fishing starts, especially here in winter time and that, obviously the fish start getting a bit more scarce, and they get a little bit more, obviously they get a bit more less. Tell me, is there anything specifically else you do to try and find it if the sessions are a bit more difficult? I know we can't catch fish every single time we go out, but is there something else I can apply to actually look for them a little bit better than the usual stuff, or not?
No, the usual stuff is really the best options, like looking at the charts, looking at the currents, where the interchange in the currents are. That really doesn't change. But if it's getting frustrating, just wait for the next season. Just find another type of fishing to do. But, you know, you should get a run of some sort of tuna over winter.
Yeah,
whether
we do.
Or you know, you had a run of southern bluefin a couple of years ago. I don't know if it happened last year, but your southern bluefin fishery is certainly increasing in South Africa, or should be. I don't know if it is. You know, I haven't had the information, but it should be.
Yeah, in the Cape, there's been in the Cape the southern bluefin actually used to be quite like in the 60s used to be quite prevalent. Now, unfortunately, because of the overfishing there, they're overfishing all the stuff, it actually got a little bit more scarce.
Yeah, but they're coming back in the next 3 or 4 years. You should notice a difference.
Yes, no, they're definitely coming back. So that's what I'm going to keep you posted on that as well, to hear what's, you know, if there's anything happening in that regard.
Yeah, I think out of Durban and Sodwana, you know, basically it's a summer fishery, and as it dies out, you'll get a run of yellowfin towards the end of it, and then it'll probably drop dead for a couple of months, and then you either move further north, or you basically go south, you know, to try and intercept the southern bluefin. But you know, basically in most areas like Sodwana and stuff, it's a pretty fixed season. I think slightly north, I forget the places north of Sodwana. But even getting up further north, you should find an area where the marlin are available 12 months of the year. Whether there's political problems getting into those countries, I don't know.
Yeah, okay, Mozambique. You're talking Mozambique, maybe. Yeah.
Northern Mozambique.
Yeah. Okay, no, the person can make. Look, the nice thing is in the winter, we do get our king mackerel. We get the big king mackerel that come in. We do get the yellowfin. Yeah, they come through quite a bit. The GTs actually start picking up for the guys fishing on the poppers and that.
Yeah.
So there's still a fair amount, and obviously just so we changed to that. Obviously, there's always you want to have a feeling to always have a bit of a run for a marlin. Just go and look, you know, that because the sound of that ratchet running never stops getting exciting.
Well, the thing about the end of the season marlin and the beginning of the season marlin, when the temperature drops, they're generally the biggest of the season. So the numbers of fish certainly drop by a lot, but the size of the fish increases an awful lot. So, you know, if you're going to get a grand, it's going to be at the end or the beginning of the season, most likely. You know, you can get them during the season, but most likely at the beginning and the end of the season.
Okay, and then talking about that, while you're saying about the granders and stuff, I swim the exact same pattern. I'm not going to change what I'm doing. I don't go bigger lures for bigger fish. I stay to what I've been working on, and that will still give you the possibility of a grander.
Yeah.
I don't have to. Okay.
I think there's been about 3 granders in South Africa caught on the Lumo sprocket, and you're using that size. So, and altogether it's got about 15 granders. So, you know, certainly if you're only targeting granders and you don't want to catch the smaller ones, and you use bigger lures. But if you want to catch everything and eliminate the tiny fish, the size lures of the sprocket and rat and stuff is the right size for general blue water fishing, for the blue marlin and black marlin of a reasonable size.
Okay. All right. And then the other thing I want to ask you while we're talking about that, I noticed on all your lures, well, all the lures I've seen so far, all of the lures are cup face or are flatheads. And it's just an interesting question. And none of them are slants. May I ask why?
Well, we do make slant-headed lures, but the hookup rate on the cup face patterns is higher than the slice face. So, you know, basically, you know, if I sell a sliced headed lure, then, you know, he's not going to replace it as quickly as if I sell him a cup face lure. We do make them, and you know, people do use them, but you know, my living is based on people's success or failures, right? So if they bust off, I get to sell another lure. If they catch a fish, I get to sell another lure. If they don't catch anything, I don't sell anything. So, you know, it's in my interest you guys have success.
Well, then because there's actually a second piece to that question. The reason why I'm saying that is, funny enough, most of my success of the fish that were properly hooked up was hooked up with cup face lures. Cup face lures and obviously something that's got a bit of a, almost like a roundness on the front, like a little lip on both sides that creates a bit of excitement. It's as if, I don't know, it feels to me, and please tell me if I'm wrong, it's just what I noticed, is it feels to me as if some of the slants are too aggressive, that the fish actually don't get a good bite on it. Am I right? Or?
Well, I didn't really study sliced heads too much because we had so much success in the cup face. And all the guys that we were beating in those days were using sliced headed lures, so I didn't really see any point in using them if we're beating them. So I really don't know a lot about sliced headed lures. The sliced headed lures that we make, which is the Changa, was actually given to me by Captain Jack Ross in Hawaii, and he said, "Oh, you know, this is a great one. I saw it," and I said, "Yeah, it looks great." So he said, "Make it." And I said, "Okay, I'll make it." And the other sliced head lures we make, you know, it's the same sort of story. I didn't design them. I was given them to people in Hawaii or other places, and they, you know, I've had a look at them and they caught fish, but not as many as the cup face lures.
Okay. So then actually,
really, you shouldn't really mix cup face lures with sliced heads either in the same pattern. You'll catch more fish if it's just either sliced headed lures or cup face lures. Don't mix them. Okay,
it makes sense. Okay, so that was actually the next question I wanted to know. So rather stick to one pattern.
Yeah.
Okay, 100%. And then the other thing I want to ask you, something that I experienced when we were there now, I was using Fish Track and our weather reports and that thing that shows the chlorophyll and the temperature breaks and all that. With regards to the weather, let's say like the one place where we were getting fish, funny enough, there wasn't a massive temperature break or anything. I don't know why they were there. They were in the middle of nowhere where I hooked up to those other fish. But when would you determine, like on Fish Track, I saw on the 900 meter mark, there was about 1.5 degrees temperature break, but it's quite far to travel out there.
Yeah.
Where in the lower canyons and stuff, there wasn't a lot of temperature break. The water was more or less the same, but it was in the canyon area.
Yeah.
And then one or two places, totally random, no temperature break. I actually found some birds and that where there was yellowfin tuna, but they weren't on the bite. We worked a bit around them and we stuck around, but we didn't stay too long.
Yeah.
How would you know out of those three, which one would be the area that you would personally target?
The one with the birds.
Okay, so you would stay there. You wouldn't go. You would work around there.
Well, if the yellowfin are there and you know they're there, then you only see them because they're feeding, so there's food there. And, you know, all the vibrations going out, it's going to attract all the other predators too. So I'd go there. But if you backtrack and if you can actually have a look at Fish Track, go back to the day you fished and the position you fished and just have a look at the currents, because to me, the main spots are really where the currents interact, where you've got arrows sort of changing direction. And that to me is the main area. And sometimes there isn't a lot of temperature change, but the currents are still bringing up the upwellings and all that sort of stuff. There generally is a temperature change, but maybe not exactly where you are. But, you know, when you get a temperature change, you know, if you're looking at temperature, it's only the surface. We're not looking at the temperature below. So it might be just a thin layer of that temperature and the change is actually further away from it, where the major temperature change actually goes down deeper. So you work a much larger area than the specific areas you get on a Fish Track or Rip Charts chart.
Okay.
But the thing that really does tell you where the mix-up is the current arrows changing direction, where the currents are mixing and bashing each other.
Okay, so I would much rather, because I see the guys like in Sudwana, they are totally infatuated with temperature changes, but they don't look at currents and they look at obviously if they see life in that. So my main two factors would rather be current and life over temperature. Okay.
Yes,
all
absolutely.
right. Okay. All right, so that's the other thing. And then Yeah, you see, yeah. Otherwise, like I said, that's okay. The teaser thing I've covered. Obviously the Kona skirts and all that. Like the lure skirts and that I've covered. Thank you so much for that information about. I'm gonna just change over. I'm not gonna swim any. I'm gonna start swimming just cup faces. I've spoken to Sorrel again. Also, I want to do a few lure changes. I'm still a big fan of your older lures. So the fish prints, I'm not gonna jump onto yet.
No, that'll be next year.
So, yeah. Yeah. So, but I definitely want to get hold of one of those Brad J on the shotgun, the Brad J lure that you use on the shotgun. That's the one thing I want to look at. And then, yeah, like I said, I've got the Witch Doctor sorted. The previous Witch Doctor I had, because our boat, we must actually had a rogue wave. I told you about the story. We actually had a wave that threw us over into Dwana in 2017. Then we must swam back 2 Ks, and we walked back like 20 Ks. And actually, funny enough, my Witch Doctor was on that boat that day, and I lost it.
Good.
So
you're
so
okay.
I'm definitely going
That's all right.
to say again.
You're okay. It doesn't matter about the Witch Doctor.
That's all that matters. So we're very thankful and still back in the water fishing. But no, okay. So just to make sure with you, Witch Doctor with the single strips, I can put 1 or 2 single strips. 3. And I'm going to swim about 3, eh? 3 strips.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've got my 3 strips out with my Witch Doctor. I've got my Squid Nation and my black birds. They on the right. So there I've got a massive teaser set up. Got my 2 shorts behind my teasers. Got my right long, my left long, and then I've got my shotgun with a bird out. Obviously a cup face. I want to get that Brad J. Yeah. And then that's a setup, right? That's a solid setup.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the only other thing I want to know is when you, let's say, obviously the one thing is you never get to see where the sea is very lacquer, where you can pull very nice, where you can pull all your Konas where they're swimming great to see the currents push and all that. So if you're choosing one line to go out deep, do you adjust so that like that third of the wave, like you put in your writings and stuff as well? Do you adjust them constantly as soon as you go in deep, and then when you come back to shore, you're constantly adjusting, or you just stay with your set pattern as you go?
Once you've got the set pattern, then you don't have to adjust the lures. You just adjust the speed, which adjusts the distance of the pressure boats back. So, if you change your speed and it's right and one lure is working, they'll all work. But when you're mixing lures and brands and ranges, then you've got to muck around with each lure. But if you've got a full set, and the patterns that I recommend, you just change speed, and that gets it working again.
Okay. And then if the other thing I wanted to ask you, I've actually made a note here while we're on it, because I don't want to, no offense, I don't want to get Sarel's advice about your stuff. I want to get your advice about your stuff. So if it's possible, will you give me just a 5 lure spread? And then obviously the colors I've got, then I want to order a complete Pakulas, because I've got quite a few lures, but I've got a lot of the same ones. Like the sprockets, I think I've got like 4 of them. So I want to actually get a proper Pakula marlin setup that I can swim together. I don't want to mix the lures. Would you perhaps give me those 5 lures that you recommend?
This for Sudwana.
Yeah, for Sudwana.
Okay, and Durban.
Yeah, yes, please.
Okay. Short corner is a Black Betty pacemaker.
Black Betty pacemaker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Long corner is a sprocket, and the color is Fallen Angel or Blue Hawaii.
Okay, Fallen Angel or Blue Hawaii. Sorry, the Black Betty is a pacemaker. That is the left short or right short?
Wherever you want to run it. You run it on the side. You run on the side with a blue hole. If you look at your wash, one side will have a blue hole in it, and the other side won't. So you run it in the side with the blue hole.
Okay, sure.
It's generally actually on the port side.
Okay, in blue hole. Okay, so it's a near lure. Okay, left corner sprocket, Fallen Angel or Blue Hawaii.
Yeah.
Okay, and then that's the left corner. The right corner.
Yeah.
What do you recommend for right corner?
No, now we go to the riggers.
Short rigger. Sorry. Yeah.
Short rigger is a rat in color stripy.
Okay, short rigger is a rat in stripy color.
Yeah, or blue Kona.
Okay, or blue blue Kona. All right. All right. So that's 3 lures.
Yeah. Long rigger.
Okay. Long rigger.
Look, the Lumo Sprocket's the most famous, but a better one is actually Grasshopper.
Okay. So also a sprocket in Grasshopper.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. And then on the shotgun.
Yeah, go a sprocket again. And it's color Brad J.
Sprocket. Brad J. So I've got, so basically I've got 3 sprockets swimming here. So I actually, because I've got 4 sprockets at home, so I could just get 2 lures to fill my spread there.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think you should upgrade. I think you should upgrade to all jets, but that's up to you.
For the fish prints.
No, just all the powered jets for those lures that I've mentioned.
Okay. Sorry, silly question. What's the power jets?
It's the more updated range than the originals. It's basically that head there.
Okay, I understand what you mean. Okay, I'm just gonna say power jets.
Yeah.
So he knows it's the newer updated range. Okay,
Yeah.
so
and what you would do, you've already got the hooks for them. So it's either the 40-40s or the 45s. Okay.
Okay, 100%.
Right.
Okay, and they'll still, the hooks will still set on 80 pound, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm currently using on most of my lures, I'm using the 35s and the 40s.
Yeah, that's all right. But these lures are bigger. They're all the same. They're all the size 40s.
Is it? Okay. So then, okay, 100%. Because I don't want Sorrel to rig them because I like rigging them myself. And I'll just ask him for the, okay, is it the 4Ds, 40s, 40Ds?
No, size 40, no, just 40. DH 40.
Okay. Okay, now I've got that. Okay, all 40.
Yeah.
100%. Right. So it's Blackberry pacemaker.
Yeah.
In the, okay, and then it's the short rigger is the rat in stripy color.
Yep.
The long rigger is the sprocket in grasshopper. The left corner of the long corner is sprocket fallen angel or blue Hawaii.
Yeah.
And then on the shotgun itself is a sprocket in Brad J. And then I must use the power jet, the newer ones.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I get a sticker with as well?
Yeah.
Okay, 100%. And then the only other thing I wanted to ask you, with your permission, I would like to, on our new fishing shirts, I would actually like to put your lure company on our sleeve. Would that be okay with you?
Yeah, of course. Thank you. Yes.
Okay, will that be fine?
Yeah.
Okay, 100%. And if I get a chance, then I'll actually send you a shirt as well. Just watch out because it attracts the girls. Just be careful.
My wife will love it. Take some pressure off her.
Yes, no, Peter, that's it again. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. I've got a lot of information here and it's definitely working. I really want to apply this again. And I'm looking forward to speaking in 6 months again with you if it's fine.
No problem. Now, a lot of the stuff that we covered here is actually pretty interesting to most people. Can I actually put this up on the web, this recording?
Yeah, 100%. Just excuse the swear words.
Well, I don't think you swore, did you?
No, just once. Just once. No. I think it's 1 so we square.
That's right. Australians swear a bit more often than that.
So thank you so much. So there were some good topics covered. You happy with it?
Yeah, I'm happy with what you're noticing, and that's pretty much how it works. You have the first introduction, you tell people what to do. If they do it, then they notice other things they want to question. So, you know, It's a pretty normal scenario. And this will keep going for about, I don't know, another 4 sessions, I guess.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. If it's fine with you, I'd like to carry on constantly improving, because I think if a person just does 1 or 2 sessions and stick with it, just the same as what your stuff modernizes, I think the techniques start modernizing. So a person needs to actually adapt a little bit to it. So if it's fine with you, I'd actually love to carry on with, say, 1 or 2 sessions or 3 sessions a year.
Well, things do change. You know, they don't change that quickly. Like if you told me 10 years ago that we'd come up with a single hook rig that was successful, I would have laughed at you, because the Shaka rig, which was the 2-hook 60-degree rig, was the best around for like 30 odd years. And I thought, you know, we tried a few single hook rigs, but then it finally clicked that, you know, just look at what your old video showed you. We actually had those rigs a long time ago in the videos, and then they work perfectly. So, you know, we sort of go back and refine stuff. And even with the lures and stuff, you know, the fish prints are currently the best thing that we're doing at the moment. But that's only at the moment. Maybe next year something else will pop up. We've got a lot of people, you know, the talk that we've just had, I have a lot of those worldwide, and once in a while somebody says something that just clicks, you know, and you go, yeah, that's right. Why didn't I think of that 20 years ago? Anyway, I didn't, but that's right now. So, you know, it's that sort of system where, you know, you talk to experts and you've come across them, you know, the guys who won't change, the guys who think they're doing the best thing. So you learn nothing from them because they're doing exactly the same as the other 10,000 people who are doing it.
100%.
It's only really through guys who don't know the whole systems, and they come up with stuff that, you know, can be really, really interesting. And I think Julian Pepperell said that in our thing too, that, you know, you get most of the globes pop when you're speaking to novices with their experiences and their anecdotes. Okay, so, you know, these things, you know, it might, you know, you sort of say my time's precious, but this is where I get a lot of my stuff for my future developments too.
Oh, excellent. Yes. No, that's excellent news. Yeah. And you know what it's all about? That I think the big thing is with a more novice fisherman, like you said, a person's not so set in your ways or in your belief system that you're actually you're still trying silly tactics, or you're trying funny stuff and whatever, but sometimes you actually hit the nail on the head and you actually achieve something, or actually create a bit of a thought process, which is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, you should never stop that. But we do. You know, we all do. We actually do end up getting pretty set in our ways. And it's really sort of when you throw everything out and start again and really look at what you're doing and why.
Yeah.
And, you know, you ask most people, well, why do you do that? And they go, well, because such and such told me. I go, yeah, but why are you doing it? I know that's what he told you, but why? And
yes,
they just 100%. Don't, you know, they say, oh, because such and such did, or, you know, thousands of fish have been caught on this. And I go, yeah, all right, but, you know, why?
Yeah.
And they don't have an answer. Anyway, all good.
But it makes sense. It makes 100% sense, because the guys that's the mentality that a lot of us have in certain instances with the fishing is somebody tells you a story and they explain something to you. But as soon as you ask questions, it's a bit frowned upon. No, that's the way. That's it. That's the way it is. That is it. And that. But why? And 100%. That's what you're saying. Why? Why is this working? This? Why that? It's the same thing. Why is this? Why does this lure work on this boat, but on this boat it doesn't work at all?
Yeah.
Why? There's going to be a reason. It can't just be, no, this doesn't swim right or something like that. It makes absolute sense. No, I totally agree with you.
Yeah. All right. All good. Thanks, Etienne.
So, yes, thank you so much, man. Hope you have a blessed week. So you must let me know when you come into South Africa. Just got to take you hunting, fishing, share a bit around here. Hey, you must let me know.
It's a very long bus trip.
So we actually got friends that are at the University of Wollongong doing research. And what I'm going to do is we're actually planning on doing a trip to come and visit them there. So if it would ever be possible, I would actually love to meet you in person. And yes, just to if I can take a tour around your workshop and everything, and actually do a little seminar with you, I would love to do something like that.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you so much, Peter.
Okay.
But I'll see you again. All the best. Have a blessed day. Thank you so much for your time. Good, man. Thanks. Bye. Bye.